Rich Lerner of the Golf Channel joining us here once again on the Rich Eisen Show. He's at Augusta as part of Golf Channel's Golf Central Live from the Masters coverage. How are you, Rich?
Doing great, Rich. How are you?
Am I reading too much into that? Of him saying I'm talking about green jacket, I'm talking about winning?
Well, maybe. My first reaction was I've heard Tiger say that even when he had the chip yips a couple of years ago. And that was his default answer because he thought that's what people wanted to hear. That's who Tiger was. Second place sucks, going all the way back to 1998. I'm here to win. When we know a couple of years ago, if he said that, we didn't believe it and he didn't believe it. I think the difference is now he knows he's good again. That's the key. And the evidence is there to support that. In the past, I'm talking 2-3 years ago, some of those failed comebacks, the evidence to support Tiger saying he was there to win just wasn't legitimate. It is now based on the way he's played in the run-up to the Masters.
So how real is this? How real is
real.
this?
It's real. He's killing the golf ball. And the biggest surprise is his short game is back. You typically don't recover from what he was going through. Some have hesitated to call it chip yips. Whatever that was a couple of years ago, typically nearing the age of 40, you just don't recover from that. I think whatever happened in May, we saw that it appears as though that was a wake-up call, a bottoming out. He got healthy, and I think it was more than simply fusing the back. Pain management gone wrong is a very serious issue in this country. Tiger has chosen not to speak about that at length. That's his decision entirely. Whatever the case, he appears to be healthy again, and I mean healthy of body, mind, and spirit. And so, yes, I think this is real. It was real at Bay Hill. It was real at Honda. It was real in Tampa. And he's rattling cages again, and he's moving the circus again. The whole choreography changes when he's relevant. The media, the fans, and what I think is sobering for the younger players, whom I love and have been great for the game. But what I think has to be sobering, and I don't think necessarily they spend a lot of time thinking about it the way we do, but this idea that millions of Americans have emphatically stated, we're not interested in watching you, Jordan, or Jason, or Justin, or Dustin. We're only interested in watching Tiger. Now, we've known that in golf for a long time. No Tiger, we have a wonderful, passionate audience, a core audience. When he's good, that audience doubles, triples, quadruples. So nobody has, relative to their sport, moved the needle as dramatically as Tiger Woods has in golf. And I would include LeBron or any of the other great athletes in any other sport. And then I think, on top of it, you have the possibility that on Sunday night we'll be debating greatest comebacks in sports history. And I think it's a fair, I don't want to crown him champion just yet. I mean, audience size aside, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth are not playing around. These guys can really go. Rory McIlroy can really go. And they're all peaking. They're verging, and it's all converging. So if Tiger's going to do it, he's going to have to play great golf. I think he's capable of that. And then we can have the discussion. And if you want, I have a few ideas on where the comeback would rank, or at least what other people would be in that conversation.
All right, Rich Lerner, you have the floor. What do you think?
Well,
go for it.
I think, in golf, you have to look at Hogan. And Tiger did mention Ben Hogan yesterday, 1949. I was hit by a bus and he almost died. Blood clots in his legs, broken ankle, broken rib. And then he came back after that accident to win 6 of his 9 majors. The other golfer that's forgotten is the great Babe Zaharias. She was an all-around athlete. And the Babe had colon cancer and had to have surgery, and 14 months later won the U.S. Women's Open in 1954 by 12 shots. That's how great Babe Zaharias was. But then you want to look to other sports, simply for sort of the depths from which they had to crawl back. Greg LeMond, people probably don't remember, but he was actually shot with 60 pellets on a hunting trip. He lost 65% of his blood. He came back to the sport with 35 pellets still in his body, and he won 2 of his 3 Tour de France titles. That's comeback. Tommy John won 168 games after the elbow surgery, which was named for him. Here's a sneaky one, Andre Agassi. He was addicted to crystal meth. His marriage to Brooke Shields was coming apart. He had wrist problems. He had fallen to 141 in the world. He came back and won 5 of his 8 majors. Peyton Manning had neck surgery, came back from that to win an MVP in a Super Bowl. Mario Lemieux would be the last one I would throw in. Lymphoma, and came back from that to win a scoring title. So I don't want people to get the idea that in golf we're so narrow-minded that Tiger's the only one who faced issues. We know that's not the case. But Tiger had really serious issues, and he's fairly advanced here in his career. He's 42. So
yeah, I mean,
I don't know that I'm ready to pronounce it the greatest, but yes, it would be an all-time.
And obviously,
Rich, what do you think?
Well, obviously, no, Rich. Look, I don't really like going there because I want it to happen so badly.
Why do you want it to happen? And do you think the public, given that all that Tiger's been through, do you think the public wants this to happen?
Rich, the numbers of the Valspar speak to whether the public wants to see it. And by the way, is that a real bird that we're hearing in the background? Because we always thought it was pumped in. Are you pumping in your bird sound for this interview?
We're at Augusta Country Club, neighboring Augusta Country Club.
Fantastic.
They're real.
That's great. I love it. But yeah, I mean, the numbers for the Valspar just show you how people want it. And the reason why I want it is this, Rich, is because I remember what Tiger was like, and I do remember what it meant for golf. And the Valspar numbers and the numbers for Bay Hill, et cetera, are showing a different generation what it was like. And it's so rare for one generation to be seen, for one generation to see what another generation wants that generation to see. I've got a 9 and a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. The 4-year-old doesn't really know much.
That's a good point.
But the 9 and 7 know who Tiger Woods is. And they're running in from a different room because of Tiger Woods. And they did not do that, with all due respect for all the other players that you mentioned.
So you've told your 9 and 7-year-olds about Tiger.
Damn straight.
And what do you tell them?
I tell him he's
can't believe this guy.
Yeah, I tell him that he's one of the greatest ever at what he ever used to do. And he's somebody that broke barriers, certainly in terms of what he looks like, and certainly in terms of how he played. And then he went away. I really didn't get really deep into, the opioid crisis or, whatever happened on that Thanksgiving night. But I tell him that this is incredible, what we're seeing, potentially. Absolutely. 1,000%. So I'm excited for it, Rich. And
I think in general, it's nice that you're sharing that with your kids who couldn't have seen the 97 Masters or the 2000 U.S. Open, which he won by 15 shots. I think our generation just has this desire to see him play the way he once did, even for a week, because as good as these guys are, and I mentioned that group of players, no one touches what he did, not even close. And I would just to throw out this number. Justin Thomas won 5 times last year. That's a once in a 20-year kind of season on the PGA Tour. Jordan Spieth in 2015 won 5 times and a couple of majors. Tiger Woods won 5 or more in a season 10 freaking times. 10. You're talking about a mind-blowing level of consistent greatness. And I would say this too, that the difference between, or never has the gap, let me say it this way, never has the gap between the best in their sport and everybody else chasing been as wide as it was when Tiger was at the peak of his powers. And I would say that would have been in 2000 at Pebble Beach, when he won a U.S. Open by 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion, by 15 shots. So Tiger's at Pebble Beach, and Ernie Els and Phil Mickelson and Vijay Singh and David Duval are in a raft somewhere close to Australia. They're not close. So we have this kind of, it's really exciting now because, you have 10, 12 guys that are really capable.
This is great.
But back then, it was only him. And the fact that it could be him again is, an understatement. It's incredibly exciting. But then, Rich, throw in Mickelson into this. Mickelson's 47. If Tiger were not here, think how big the Mickelson story would be, coming in off a win in Mexico at a World Golf Championship. 47, a chance to become the oldest champion ever at the Masters. Nicklaus has had that distinction for 32 years. And Mickelson's real. As real as Tiger is, Mickelson's legit right now.
Rich,
he's really playing well.
Rich, I look forward to it. And again, your Golf Central live coverage from the Masters can be seen on Golf Channel throughout the week. Appreciate the time. Enjoy the time. Thanks for the call.
Enjoy it, Rich.
You bet. That's Rich Lerner.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.